Welcome back to the channel. As you know, I'm getting ready to take a 2,200 mile road trip with my motorhome and my car trailer to go move my sister. So checking the wheel bearings, and in the process of doing the maintenance, I found a couple bearings that didn't look so good. I'll show you some pictures I took, and I just want to show you a real quick video how I'm going to change the bearings and change the bearing race. Okay, you can see the old bearing race compared to the new one, and you can feel that with your fingers, so it's kind of rumbling. I did get some moisture in the bearing, so you can see a little bit of rust, and you can kind of feel it when you're spinning the hub. So even though I did pack it and I put it all back together, because I wasn't sure I can get a bearing, turns out Arnold Motor Supply did have bearings in stock. So I pulled the hub last night, and if you drive the race out, you can get the number so you know what you need if you don't have your part numbers. And I got the right bearing race and the right bearings. You're going to need a bearing race and seal driver tool. You can see that fits in nicely to drive the race into the hub, and that's where it came from. So all that fresh grease is from me putting it together once. Now I've taken it apart. I'm not taking that grease out. I drove it out from the back side, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drive it in. Okay, not sure what I was thinking. I'm not going to hammer it in, risk knocking it in sideways or damaging it when I got a press. So we'll set her up on the press, set the race in, go ahead and put the tool in, and then I'm going to use this as a spacer, and it should push it nice straight down. Let's see if that works. Yeah, that's going in, and I can see now my pressure gauge is off a little bit, but as I go, the pressure doesn't come up. That's how I'm gonna know it's in, because the pressure is gonna start to rise. So we'll go ahead and just drive that in nice and easy, no damage. Yeah, that's going in nice. And if you don't have a press, I suppose a hammer would work. Now, I believe it's bottomed out, because you can see pressure going up. So I'm gonna just go a little bit. Yeah, now it's getting really hard. So I believe I'm bottomed out. I'm gonna take it apart and double check, but that's all there is to it. And I'll show you how I'm gonna grease that bearing. Okay, first thing I wanna do is I use the caliper to double check the spindle diameter of the old bearing versus the new bearing. And it seems I have the correct one. So this is a Lyle tool, and this uses your grease gun, because you can pack these by hand, and I've done it many times, but trying to get all that grease in there, pretty tough to do. This green grease I'm using is just John Deere polyurea grease. It's perfectly fine for wheel bearings, and it's what I have, so it's what I'm going to use. So go ahead and one other thing, a little shout out to Lock and Lube. I bought this, but man, this thing works really well. A little bit pricey. The advertising on Facebook, I'm gonna buy that. So I did, and I really like it, and it's coming real handy. Works pretty good, and I should do a different video on that, but this Lock and Lube does as advertised, and it's worked really well. So as you can see, pumping the grease through, get all the air out, and then I'll go ahead and smear it on the outside of that, but that inner race is gonna be full of grease. And this works pretty slick. This Lock and Lube, I also like the way there is a grease zerk on the handle, so it locks on itself, and then you can hang it by the hose so I don't lose it, because my shop's a mess, and it's the one thing I can find because I hang it on the wall. I got a spot for it. So anyhow, let's get this bearing out. Okay, so I'll take this bearing, grease the rollers on the outside, go ahead and put some grease on the race itself, and then all this excess grease I'll set right in there. And the centrifugal force, as the wheel's spinning, kind of forces the grease, that little extra grease, to the bearing. And I'm probably going to check these again in 5,000 miles. So take my road trip to New York State and back, and then we go to sick week down to Florida and back, and then I'll be checking them again. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the other hub off and show you how I knock this bearing race out. Okay, I'll show you how I take the hub apart and how you knock out that outer race. And the easiest way to take a tandem trailer up in the air, and I got a short on this in another video, changing a flat, but these little half circle ramp things, you drive that up and get that tire off the ground. I've got bearing buddies on this. I'm not exactly a fan because I still had problems even though I kept it full of grease. Okay, I decided to use my 360 camera so you can see how this is done. Hopefully we can see it. It's pretty dark out here. It's only about 6 o'clock. But in the fall, it gets pretty dark quick around here. At least it's nice out. So I pulled the wheel off, then my camera died. So I don't have anything there, but you know, wheel comes off. So this is a bearing buddy, and I'm not a real big fan of bearing buddies, but some people like them, but it's what I got. So one thing is the bearing buddy, there's like a cap adapter, so there's a second piece in here, and I'll show you when we get this in the shop, when I knock that race out, what that's all about. But for the meantime, I'm just gonna get a block of wood, put it up against the bearing buddy, and just knock it out. Simple as that. And you got a cotter pin. Go ahead and pull that out. Then your wheel bearing adjuster. Take that out. Then there's like a washer that pushes up against your outer bearing, and so your bearing and your outer race is right in there. And I should be able to just pull all this. Well, should just pull out. See if I can get this piece out. There we go. So just like that. Maybe the bearing will come out now. Yeah. And just like that. So there's a spindle. Your seal rides on this surface back here, so you clean all this off. I just had it apart, repacked the bearings, and then I decided I wasn't happy with the outer race and the outer bearing, so we're going to go ahead and change them on both sides on this axle. The front axle was fine. So you clean this surface here where the grease seal rides, clean everything off before you put it back together. I'm going to go ahead and take this in the shop, and I'll show you how to knock this race out. Okay, you can see the bearing race in here. We have to knock it out. So I'm going to stick it in the vise, turn it over, and this ring is also in the way, but I'm going to use, as I drive the bearing race out, I'm going to go ahead and that will drive this ring off. I don't want to smack it from the outside with a chisel or a screwdriver or pliers and tear it up. It'll come out nice and clean just by hitting it from the backside. So go over there and set it in the vise. And if you're still watching, I sure appreciate it. I'm trying to get my channel over 1,000. We're at 778 as of today. I'd like to get it over 1,000 before we head to sick week, which is February 1st when we head to Florida. And well, Ricky will be racing this car on Juray Racing. So plenty of coverage from both of us on that event. So I'm going to try to put out a little more content, show you how I'm prepping for that, and getting this trailer ready for this road trip is essentially getting it ready for the second road trip. So let's get this on the vise. Okay, I'm fortunate enough to have a vise big enough so I don't have supporting it by the hub itself and not the studs. I don't want to mess those up. Get yourself a long screwdriver and a hammer, and I'm going to go down through the center here See if I can get to the edge of that race. And then try to tap it out. It's out. Don't want to get any dirt down here because I already packed the inner bearing. See how that's coming along? Yeah, it's starting to knock that adapter off as well. Okay, the race is free, and I still got the adapter. Okay, that's it. I'll go ahead and switch the other camera. Okay, that's the Bearing Buddy adapter, I guess. I'm gonna go ahead and throw it in some mineral spirits. That'll help clean it up. This race wasn't as bad, but still, you can feel it. So it's time to replace. The first one was certainly worse. So yeah, check your bearings probably every 5,000 miles. And yeah, that had some moisture in it, which caused a little bit of rust, which caused the pitting. So check your bearings, check your tires, check your lights. And remember, you get what you inspect, not what you expect. So if you got to take a road trip, you might want to check your bearings, check your lights, check everything on your trailer. I've checked the motorhome over as well, aired up the airbags, checked all the tires. It's fall, so everything's gotten cooler. We lost a little bit of air pressure. It's good on oil and everything. So just like I said, you get what you inspect, not what you expect. Really appreciate you watching, and look for some really good videos coming up. I'm going to do a little bit on the road trip. We'll talk about how the motorhome performs and some gas mileage and whatnot. And I can't wait to Sick Week, which starts February 1st. It's coming around the corner. So we'll see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.